This is a weird episode because I've never done something like this before. Um, I'm gonna explain the whole Fortnite storyline. For chapter 1, and I'm probably gonna give some theories of what I'm gonna think is gonna happen this season going on. So here it goes. I'm just gonna say one thing also. I didn't play season 6. I just know what happened. I played like half season 5. I accidentally see the Kevin thing. So if I'm not accurate on that area, please don't blame me. But I'm gonna get into it. So season 1 and 2 of Fortnite was just completely normal. Everything was like it was not a 10 of the storyline. And then season 3, what we thought of at first, what I thought it was a glitch. But sooner than I realized it was a meteor. It kept getting closer, and then the meteors just started hitting, like mini meteors started hitting the island. And eventually the meteor hit, and then we got a trailer, and then that was season 4. We got into season 4. There is a pod from the meteor. We did not know what was into it, but what we did know, there's other people on the outside, like, you know, with the Omega Carbine. What we later found out with all the stuff with Carbine escaping, heroes versus villains fight, all fake. But the main question I got is, why was there a real rocket in a fake villain base? I don't know. But anyway, eventually when the pod opened, who came out with it was the visitor. And then what happened was then he took the rocket out into the air, or he launched a rocket, and then with the rocket he kept flying around the map, and then he went through the rift, and he made a humongous rift. But this is where it's about to become confusing. When he went through a rift, he went out of time and space itself, ending up in the in-between, or just nowhere, but somewhere. Kind of like you're out of time, but you're not. It's kind of confusing. So like, you're out of time and space itself, which means you're just like in nowhere, just nothingness, just absolute nothing. Maybe. Or he's got to the in-between. I think he went to the in-between. But I think along with that, 6 other entities did too. But we're going to get in more depth with that later on. But we're not going to get in, now we're going to get in season 5. So that led to the rift to become bigger, which led different like things of time to end up in our dimension. So like, different stuff getting teleported in from different time spots, like mixed up, and then landing into our island itself. That was practically season 5. In the rift, there's just more stuff getting into it, and then the rift eventually closed. And while it closed, it brings something like it was a cube, just a cube, a mysterious cube, which ended up going around a map, placing down these like things, I think around 6 of them. One around Greasy, one by Pleasant, Retail, Fatal, Anarchy, Wailing. I don't know, but I'm thinking about that, which ended up being his plan. And then he went into he got in one into Loot Lake. He sunk into Loot Lake. Loot Lake became a big trampoline. We were happy. There's this Enforcer skin, which I'm kind of confused about. I don't really know what his intent was. I don't think much people do. Maybe just protecting time from the cube. I don't know. But don't correct me on that. I just don't know. I didn't really play there in that time, and I didn't really look at stuff like that. But then when season 6 hit, Kevin was on a floating island, took to island in Loot Lake, and was floating, as all the other things he placed became like his power source. His way kind of like to survive. He kind of like left a marker of himself. Kind of. Probably not. But whatever. So when we, during season 6, the cube just moved around the map. It kept taking his power source and all that, and then eventually when it finally got back to the lake, and eventually it didn't blow up. It kind of like blew up to like collapse on itself because it's getting weaker because it doesn't have anything to keep itself going. So, when he blows up, he releases some evil, like, which bring with the Fortnite mirrors. Yeah, that there. And then eventually we get the event where the cube eventually did full-on blow up. And then we went to the in-between where we saw the butterfly cutscene, which in my opinion, which is a distraction to Singularity, for Singularity to get out. No, I think that was the end. No, I think it was. And they sent us in between because maybe you're trying to keep us away from the blast, and showed like, I don't know. That's the thing my mind gets stuck in too, because we don't really know the full intent of why we went to the in between. We were sent there for a reason. I don't think it was really a distraction because for Singularity to get out. I think that was more season 8, which we'll also get to. But now we're in season 7. Night storm comes, then a glacier hits the island. The glacier shows the castle, which starts slowly melting. So really, what happens? We have so it's like kind of normal and stuff. As the iceberg slowly melts throughout the season, which reveal more secrets. And eventually the chamber where the Ice King, or not the Ice King, the fire, or not fire, the prisoner was staying, that's where he stayed, was melting. And Ice King was sleeping, he woke up, and he's like, the ice is not supposed to thaw. So since the ice is thawing, he gets a free cube fragment, which has an unexplainable power. And then he uses it to put the map into an internal snowstorm, which wasn't really internal. And also bring like these the zombies from Fortnite mirrors, kind of there, but like icy, thin. Yeah. Okay. And then when that happened, with that happening, he did that to stop the ice from thawing. But of course that didn't work. After like 2 weeks, the ice started thawing again, and then everything started going terribly wrong. Then the prisoner escaped, and then the prisoner, you have to find keys to get like his parts off and all that. Prisoner got his thing, like slowly got his gear off and all that, and then placed a spell in Wailing Woods. Placed a spell in Wailing Woods, which put like Wailing Woods on like fire and stuff, and then we hit the season 8, which a volcano formed. Which doesn't really make sense, if you ask me. But of course, there's whatever else I forgot to mention. Is there were eggs. There was eggs in the in Polar Peak. They were taken. They were brought to the volcano, which I think was called. Well, I don't even think it was a name location. Yeah, but anyway, what happened after that is so those it's like this battle pass skin over here. Nope. Okay. Hybrid, he hatched. which 2 actually didn't hatch, but they were the things that were in the eggs. They didn't really have much of a thing in the season, but still, just worth mentioning that. So what was happening was, so it's kind of usual. We kind of had the thing in the season teased us for had nothing to do with, like, the Pirates. The Pirates had no, like, thing involved in this freaking season. The only thing they practically did was being like a freaking third partier, almost, between the Ice King and the Fire King. But slowly, what they ended up finding was the treasure, and everyone was searching for this treasure. Even the government, they were doing dig sites and stuff around the map to see if they can find it. And eventually, something had a change of plans. Everything was going fine until Violet Lake, the government digged up something. And they digged up a metal thing under the map. To be honest with you, I think that's all under the map. The whole thing was that, like, metal thing. Violet Lake. So then they move around, find out what it is, and then they go to Center Loot Lake, where, like, the cube fragments are that was left in season 6 with the new Leaky Lake. And they dig it up, and they find the door to the vault. Of course, this was meant not to be opened, and it was meant to stay closed. Yeah. So then, what happened was, the keys, there was like 5-6 keys get into the vault that you needed to. They would randomly appear on the map, and then you would either have to hit them to keep them going forward, or they'll just move frequently like that. I think you just have to hit them. And then when you, it would go forward closer to the map, or not the map, to the thing. Well, every single time these things landed into it, the volcano would become more non-dormant, which would make it like, it looked like more it's about to erupt. So after that, once all 5 get into it, the volcano looks like it's gonna erupt. We go into it, and then we enter the vault, or the in-between. And when we enter the in-between, we find that we get to vote for our very own weapons, to come back out of, like, the vault. And then it ends up choosing drum gun, which I kind of think was rigged. I don't think it was a player vote. I think they just chose it itself because they knew drum gun was gonna be chose, or TAC SMG. I wish it was TAC SMG though, but we got that in season 10. Anyway, when the weapon was chose, which I think was also kind of that was the way Singularity got out. The volcano was erupting. It destroyed Retail, Tilted, and it hit Polar Peak, which was vital. Not vital. It was like, it was huge to, like, this is the reason why whole map got destroyed in season 10. So yeah, and that's practically the end of the season. It's kind of like the map's kind of recovering from it. The volcano's like kind of done, but it's like everything else is like, it's like the whole map's under ashes and stuff. Then season 9 comes, where Retail and this is like, I think takes place 8 years later. It's all futuristic with Neo, Tilted, and Mega Mall, which is like the new upgraded versions of the Titans. Which Mega Mall is pretty good, but Neo Tilted, it had a decent amount of flaws. So in this season, this is when it gets real interesting. It's kind of just like, it jumps right to it. Like, you don't really know what's gonna happen this season. The meteor from that, the pressure, or not pressure, the volcano's on pressure plant, stuff like that. Yeah, Polar Peak, when the volcano rock hit Polar Peak, it woke up a monster. Yeah. So then, slowly but surely, the monster starts breaking out of the glacier, in snow area, And eventually it does, and it goes right into the ocean, bringing the castle with it. Probably the Ice King too. R.I.P. Ice King. But with that happening, with all of that happening, there's like, after that, all the people are kind of like, what the hell just happened? They kind of figured there was gonna be a monster after they saw the eye and the roars and stuff. So this is like 8 years that monster was trapped in there and finally woke. So it's probably been in there for like millions of years, but like it woke up and it tried to get out of there for 8 years. When it got out of there, jumped in the ocean, probably to cool down and stuff. And then it did do some like random attacks. We knew it could jump in and out. It like attacked the Loot Lake thing. The Loot Lake like power station thing. Not the power cord. Like the power cord is almost unleashed though. But it kind of hit the power cord. Which is us. They don't really do much. But it destroyed like the other 2 buildings right by it. Which are still we're still destroyed. But it kept doing that, and then the Singularity, which is actually kind of like the person who helped them become more futuristic and used the power from the in-between as an advantage. She started a project to build a robot to fight off the monster, and it did happen. The robot had missiles. It kind of had like a reflection of each character, like Cuddle Team Leader, Rex, Drift, Tomato Head, Durburger. And yeah, that was pretty much the whole thing. So eventually the monster woke, or not woke, the monster came out of the ocean and started just kind of causing a little bit of carnage, and then went right for the power from the vault, which is kind of which is actually the Nexus. So they're using the power from the Nexus. Yeah, the Nexus is what controlled time, and the Nexus is gonna be the most vital thing you're gonna hear about this. So Nexus controls so much power, and also controls time. And what happens is, the robot, the monster tries to go for it, and then the robot gets out of the thing and shoots missiles at him, because that's just the type of person he is. And he shoots missiles at it, and which hits the monster, and then the monster gets pissed off, shoots him with a laser, and then yeah, it's just a full-on battle, which ends up happening. The monster just beats the hell out of the robot, and the robot ends up getting one arm trying to get his away from the monster. So he has no choice but to punch through the vault and take the Nexus, pick it up and crack it. It's like he cracked the Nexus to take all the power from it, and that's how he beat the monster. And what ended up being a statue in Neo Tilted ended up being a sword, and bye-bye. So that's season 9, but there's still a little bit more. So since the Nexus is now vulnerable, it's like time is getting unstable, and it's getting unstable. It keeps getting worse and worse, and then eventually it gets so unstable and stuff, it explodes. But not fully. So it kind of like sends us to like a bolt, like time and stuff. And it sends us to what really happened is, this is where it's going to get very, 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 very confusing. So you need to understand this. There was a different entity outside this time. It's outside of time, which I'm probably is the visitor or whoever's in between, who was in the in-between. There's a different entity out there, which is causing to go through all this, which causes when you go to the island for none of the anything that never happened, with the meteor not hitting yet. That kind of pretty much is there. And then, so this is what's confusing part. With that outside entity, it okay, before we can get to that, we're just gonna start off with like season 10 stuff. So the visitor gets right out of a meteor, which is actually a scientist's different one. And what happens is he starts making rift beacons in different rift zones to connect to the different dimensions where the different visitors are. He knew he was not alone. He knew from the other multiverses there's similar stuff gonna happen. He was one out of 7. We've seen 3. So this is so like what pretty much happens is so after this, those are like the pathways to get from the different dimensions. So then after that, sorry, I'm trying to regroup my mind right now. He starts using the mechs parts to make the the rocket. Which he ends up doing. He makes the rocket, but he can't launch the rocket because time is stuck. Time is stuck. And the thing is, the reason why it's stuck is because there's other entities outside this loop, which is causing it to be stuck, which caused the meteor to come back. Because practically in that loop, nothing ever happened. None of that ever happened. So since that entity's outside the loop, the only way to break the rocket out of time is for him to lose. It's for him to lose his memory and all that, and he makes a tape for himself so he can know what he's doing. And then at that precise moment, he launches the rocket. Rocket goes high up into the air, does the usual thing, then it makes a big rift, activating all the other ones. And now this is where it's gonna get interesting. Very interesting. So, since that happened, he comes out, the 7 other rockets, or 6 other rockets come out of a loop. So, think about it. I just want you guys to think about this right now. Hold up. I just want you guys to really think about this. The rocket we saw in season 4, when it went out of the air, where it got stuck in between, it came back in season 10, along with 5 other unknown ones. See, in another multiverse, this visitor, which is called the Paradigm, whatever her name is, she did the same thing. She launched her rocket and went through a rift and ended up in Armor 7. See, her allegiance is unknown, part of the 7th set. You see what I'm doing here? Showing you guys here? So, that's 3. 5 other ones unknown. He takes controls of the rifts and the rockets itself, and puts so much and uses and goes so fast and using so much power and stuff, he takes the meteor out of time. And he knew the only way to get everybody outside the loop was to destroy it by himself. See, the reason why he could only do it like his mind and all that, because you couldn't launch the rocket outside the loop. He had to be in the loop itself. So being in the loop itself made him be able to launch the rocket. And because of the other entities outside of the loop. And to stop in the loop itself, he needed to be in the loop. And that's why when he did that precise moment, he lost his memory. So that's which led to all the other rockets, which the whole plan was to drop the meteor on the 0 point, because time was stuck. And what just ended up happening is when the 0 point, or when the meteor landed at a 0 point, collapsed to 0 point, 0 point, destroyed. Everything started getting sucked into it. It turned into a black hole. So pretty much all happened. The 0 point, so 0 point turned into a black hole, caused all the multiverses, and pretty much all the multiverses and time itself to be gone. Everything gone. The only thing that was left was the matter, and the remaining matter left. The blue stuff circling the black hole. That was the only thing that remained. And he ended up sending messages to us, confirming pretty much he was not alone. He was miscalculated. Something is now inevitable, which means it's here. The nothing is now eventful. So that means the nothing is gone here. That's what it meant. So that was pretty much storyline. But we're not done yet, because I kind of want to still go in a little bit more depth with this, because I don't think this made a little bit more sense to you. So I'm just gonna give a little recap about the season 10 stuff. There's another entity outside the loop which caused everything inside the loop to be stuck, and that's why it kind of almost restarted with the meteor and stuff coming back. So the visitor had to be inside the loop to activate everything. That's when we saw the rocket launch, because everything's stuck. Time is like, we can move, everybody's muted, and stuff, but everything else, time is stuck. Like when you saw the rocket launch, it almost like came out of time when you saw it. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. That is disgusting. What the fuck? Okay. So I'm gonna give a little bit of theories of what I think is gonna happen in chapter 1, chapter 2, season 1, and probably going on forth. I think we are gonna see at least a little bit of these other visitors, because they're not just gonna keep 4 of them unknown. They're not just gonna do that. So I'm trying to think what I think is gonna happen. Either stuff from the old map's gonna come back. It's gonna be like season 5, or one of the rockets that were still here are gonna eventually crash on the island, bringing one of these visitors back, which is gonna cause some, like, there's, I think what it means, like 1 out of 7 stuff. We were sent to this island for a reason. That middle island, dude, like, guys, that looks perfect for a flying island. I mean, the Kevolution energy, that power plant's probably gonna collapse on it to itself, and we're gonna find something really weird. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to think is, that was not the only 0 point. Maybe the reason why the full intent of destroying that 0 point was so time can be restored and back to normal onto the next one. I think there's another 0 point in this island that was the main reason why they destroyed time and all that. For that multiverse area, like that dimension, not dimension, that area, that first island. And I think right now there's another 0 point. I think there's definitely another one, because time is definitely going perfectly. And I think that's the whole freaking reason why the whole other map is gone. Because there's another 0 point right here that the visitor intended us to go to. Or should I say the scientist. That's my theory. And I think it makes perfect sense. You'd only had one reason to do that. But that's just not my only theory. I think remnants of the other map are gonna come back, like I just said. I think there's gonna be something associated with these 4 other visitors. Some way, somehow. But what I also think could happen, this guy, the tier 100, is gonna have to deal a lot. It's gonna be like vital for the season. I think he's gonna be the bad guy. Fusion. Merge into one. That's kind of coincidental. If you ask me. But I think what he's gonna do, what I main speculate this season's gonna happen is there's gonna be some type of weapon made. A weapon with enough power to open up a rift. To bring back stuff from other seasons. I'm talking like a laser, something like that. Like he's merged into one, so he might be like every remnant from the last chapter or the last map in all in one. That's what I think is really gonna happen. And he's gonna want to bring stuff back from everything from old maps and stuff. I think that's gonna be his mission. And then what's gonna happen is after he's gonna do that, a rocket's gonna fly through the rift from one of the 4. What I think is all of them survived. They all got away to end up in this multiverse. Which when that one's gonna land down, there's gonna be another rocket launch. And they're gonna maybe do it in their tent. It's kind of confusing. It's all dependent on how this season's gonna go, but I'm 100% sure with you guys, and I know it's for a fact. There's another 0 point. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. I mean, I didn't explain it so much as good as I thought I would do it, but I might have made it more confusing than it already is, and I might have repeated myself a lot. But this is like my whole theoretical thing on this game, on what's gonna happen, on what already happened, on stuff that we didn't know that already happened. Whatever. I'm gonna confuse you guys even more. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have a theory video out sometime. I have an announcement I was gonna do later on, but I'm gonna do that announcement sooner or later. Soon. Trust me, it's a good one. See you guys next time. Goodbye.